happy for, feel bad for, and looking forward to. 3 players on USMNT that I'm keeping my eye on as soon as Pochettino makes it to the U.S. Apparently there's some contractual, some money stuff that Chelsea still owes him, and they're working out some of the details on that to either release him or so that the U.S. can sign him or whatever. So nothing really that should worry anybody. I'm sure maybe he won't be ready to be on the sidelines coaching in a few weeks when we play Canada and I think New Zealand. I think that's like the first week of September. And that Canada game, it's in Kansas City. That's just 3-4 hours away from St. Louis. That'd be a fantastic game. I'd love to do that game. Maybe I will. Who knows? I have no idea how much the tickets are going to be. We know they're going to be a lot more expensive now, especially if Pochettino's here, as opposed to if Berhalter was still here. But anyways, let's stick to the topic of our video. Who we feel happy for, bad for, and who looking forward to seeing Pochettino have an effect on. 3 players. Let's start with the who we're happy for. For me, I think it's clear cut the one player that should be absolutely ecstatic, and I'm happy to see Pochettino come in for this player. Folarin Balogun. Talk about, I think, talent-wise, he is between Pulisic and Balogun, just on pure talent alone, those are by far your top 2 players. And since Balogun has been on the team, Berhalter has struggled to figure out ways to get him the ball, to feed him the ball properly, right? There's times where he's completely just out of the game. And the type of player that he is, he really has to rely on other people getting him the ball and getting him access to having an effect within the game. Or he's just completely just not there. Now, whether or not that's an issue with Balogun himself, that he has to then, like we did with Pepe, he has to do things extra to receive the ball and get him into a position to where he can receive the ball more. But I think it's more of the game plan that Berhalter had, and we were just struggling to figure out how to just even play him. So with Pochettino coming in and his background and, having world-class attacking players, I think Balogun is going to just have a phenomenal 2 years coming up. I'm really excited to see what kind of effect Pochettino is going to have with Balogun. And I think that distance between Balogun and Pepe and whoever, Haji Wright, whoever else you want to throw up there as far as this competition, I think you're going to really see it separate to where Balogun is by far not only our best striker, but more than likely could be our best player on this team. Now, let's transition into who I feel bad for with Pochettino coming in. And on this here, this is something that I have been kind of talking about ever since kind of the World Cup and leading up to the World Cup. Matt Turner, our keeper situation. I think roster-wise that anywhere up and down the roster, no matter what position you're looking at, the U.S. is in a pretty good position depth-wise to where now finally we have enough talent to where you're not so sure that certain players just have command of a starting position. You look at over in like the midfield area to where a player like Yunus Musa during Copa, you're like, where is he? Why can't we get him in? And you've got McKennie, Tyler Adams when he's healthy. You've got Gio Reyna. Those players there within our midfield, that's something that's a luxury to have on this team. And I think we're starting to see that at positions all over the field. The one exception is our keeper situation. I have felt has always been very kind of precarious, and we've always kind of just settled on, well, Matt Turner is just the best of what we have available. Now, I feel bad for Turner. I think he's a good kid, a good guy. He's had some big saves. He's played in some really big games for us. When you watch him out there on the field, and anytime the ball is played back to him or he has to play the ball, and I know that not every keeper nowadays is really good with their feet, but he is so not good with his feet that it puts the team in some really bad positions. And that's not something at this point that I think you're going to improve on. You know, that's not something that I think he can certainly work on it a little bit more, but either you kind of have it or you don't. And he definitely doesn't have it. Horvath is not the answer. It's one of those cases to where, you know, with the existing group of keepers that we have that are kind of in play of the older guys, you're kind of seeing, we know what they have to offer. We've seen probably the best of what they have. And I feel bad for Turner, because I think by the time when everything is all said and done, when the dust kind of settles, he's going to be out of the mix. And I know he's been our top guy, but unfortunately, especially, you know, you look at club level, that's not working for him. I don't know necessarily where he's going to end up landing, or he's going to get enough time to. I think Pochettino is going to come in, and that's going to be one of the higher priorities on his list as far as the roster goes, is taking a look and saying, okay, what can we do at the keeper position? And it's going to have to come with, we can't buy our way into this, right? So it's going to have to be somebody coming up, one of the younger kids, Gaga, whether or not, you know, he continues to progress. Patrick Schulte's another one to where, for me personally, I believe the kid lives down the street from me. So he went to the same high school that my kids went to when he made the Olympic roster. Out on our front street, as I was driving down my main road, they had all these balloons and congratulations signs for him. So that's kind of just personally one that I'm like, I hope something like that works its way out for him. But it'll be interesting to see if there is anybody coming up that we can get developed and get enough caps and get enough, you know, to where they're comfortable playing in these big games prior to the World Cup in 2026. Now, the third one, who I'm looking forward to as far as Pochettino coming in and the effect that he could have on this player. For me, no questions on this one also. Weston McKennie. I don't know what's going on with my man Wes. Has not looked good on the field for the U.S. Is obviously struggling club-wise, finding a team that wants him. And I think potential-wise, he has yet to reach that potential or even come close to it. And you can tell within the last couple years, he'll have games to where, especially on the national side of things, to where he's an absolute factor in the game, right? And lately, within the past 6 months, maybe a year, you're kind of like, what's going on with Wes? Is there something else going on behind the scenes? He's just not getting to that level to where he's making a difference. Now, was that something to do with multiple things going on top of how Berhalter was kind of playing him and wanting him to play? Was that an effect with Tyler Adams being hurt and not out there on the field, to where it had to, you know, Berhalter had to change up the strategy of that midfield and give McKennie different things he had to do because Tyler Adams wasn't there? I don't know. All I know is that the McKennie that we've been seeing out there on the field has not been the McKennie that we're like we've seen before. So I am certainly looking forward to Pochettino coming in and re-energizing somehow, however he can do it, Weston McKennie. Now, the great thing about somebody like Pochettino coming in and accepting the job and knowing that this is what he wants to do, he's done his homework, right? He knows these players. He knows them enough to where he's like, this is an attractive job. This is something that I want to take on. He's not going to take on a job like this for the World Cup on a team that he does not think there's enough talent there to make some kind of a difference or an impact in 2 years. So the good news for the rest of us, if we've ever kind of wondered, well, maybe, I mean, they keep saying the golden generation, maybe it's not. And I the last time that we talked about the golden generation, I said, look, let's drop it. This isn't the golden generation. But the indication that if you're bringing in somebody like Pochettino to the U.S. team, he knows the roster. He knows the players that are coming up. He's done his homework. There's enough talent there to where it made it interesting for him to want to take this job. Because if there weren't players here, or if they were completely overrated, he could have almost any other job around the globe, right? But he's going to be here. So I think that's great news. So just to recap, I feel great. I feel good. I feel happy for Balogun. I think we're going to see some of those fantastic plays that we saw Balogun make, especially in Copa. Some of these goals, we're going to see him really involved. I think Pochettino is going to make that a priority for offense. He's going to be Pulisic, Weah. They're going to be super exciting to watch. I feel bad for Turner. I think Turner's going to be out, but when it's all said and done, I think Turner's not going to even be anywhere near the team. And we're probably going to end up having all three new keepers, to be honest with you, by the time everything gets here in 2026. And then the one that I'm looking forward to see, hey, what can Pochettino, what kind of an effect can he have on a player? Weston McKennie. I'm hoping we have to turn Wes around.